Jennifer, Donald Trump calls this a giant win, and based on everything we've seen and heard, he's right, and not just a victory for him, but for the office of the presidency, the executive office.
That's right, yes. I mean, this is a victory not just for the Trump administration, but for every president to follow.
So on birthright citizenship in particular, enforcement, from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, cannot take place for another 30 days. So
Right.
What does this mean on day 31? That the Trump administration can start denying citizenship to children of people who are here in this country illegally?
There's going to be a lot of questions in these next 30 days. So the court did require the Trump administration to issue further guidance to agencies on how they are going to implement the logistics of a ban on birthright citizenship for non-U.S. citizens who do give birth. What will that look like? We have yet to see. And during oral arguments before this decision came out, those questions were asked, and the administration didn't have certain answers for that. So as far as the logistics go on what the actual rollout will look like in terms of implementing a stop to birthright citizenship, a lot of questions have yet to be seen. With respect to what that will look like on day 31, I expect that there will be a ton of lawsuits coming out. This certainly isn't the end of the birthright citizenship case by any means.
And in a scathing dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor said this is an open invitation for the government to bypass the Constitution. Tell us what the Constitution says when it comes to birthright citizenship.
Yes, so the Constitution says that anyone born on U.S. soil is assumed to be an American citizen. And so when this executive order came out, flipping that on its head, the Trump administration said, well, no, you have to be a U.S. citizen to give birth to a U.S. citizen on U.S. soil. That has never been a reading of how the Constitution and 14th Amendment, namely, is written. And a lot of people are understandably upset that we're trying to undo the Constitution with executive orders.
Jennifer, are there certain parts of the country that might implement this or enforce this after 31 days, and other parts of the country, let's say state of California, which may say we're not touching this with a 10-foot pole?
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of patchwork differences on how different states and jurisdictions, even within a single state, may implement this and what it will look like. And that's where the dissent was pointing to. They said this is going to be pure, total chaos for American citizens. I mean, if we take a step back and think about it, if a woman is pregnant right now, does she have to go in and provide her original birth certificate or a U.S. passport when she delivers in a hospital to prove citizenship? A lot of individuals in the United States don't even have access to those documents. So it's going to be very, very messy.
And what does this mean for millions of people, whether you're undocumented or documented, who rely on the courts to protect their constitutional rights and for the rule of law?
Right. And so that's what the Supreme Court was getting at in this ruling. They said, look, there's a better way to go about this. Again, they made no comments on the actual merits of the executive order. They said to bring forward a lawsuit rather than impose a nationwide injunction that stops this immediately across the board, not just for birthright citizenship, but for any executive order. Individuals need to bring lawsuits, and the merits need to be determined for each individual case. And so we're going to see a lot of chaos.
Yeah, and you're right. And it sounds like we're going to see a lot more legal battles to come. Jennifer Behm.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.